Would you like to support the Insiders? Pick up some merch now. Support us by getting a shirt, a hoodie, support Abby's window, get a Shenanigans shirt, whatever you'd like. Pick up some merch now. Insiders Pro Wrestling. The link is at the end of the video.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday to you all. Hope you all had a great weekend as we're coming to the end of this, second to last weekend of July already. Summer's flying by. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight as far as wrestling is concerned. It was a big week of wrestling, especially obviously for Impact last night. Some people mentioning that in the chat already. And we will do a lot of discussion about what happened on Slammiversary last night. So lots going on, lots to talk about, lots to come in the world of wrestling, Jeff. And it was a really good week of wrestling this week.
Good week of wrestling. Man, last night was awesome.
Yeah.
Really was great. Good to see some returns. We'll talk about those and everything else during the show, but I'm really digging this MJF Adam Cole storyline. We'll talk about that a little bit tonight, and we'll talk a little bit about LA Knight since everybody else seems to. So we'll talk about them a little bit this evening too.
Yeah. We've got some good stuff tonight. Obviously, a lot to cover news-wise. We'll do our sell or no sell segment. We'll do our favorite moments of the week. Jeff's got a grievance. I've got kind of a half and half. I've got a grievance and I've got something that we don't normally do this, but I'm going to kind of go opposite a little bit. And I've got something that I really wanted to bring out to people's attention, because a lot of times with the grievances, we go negative. This one is not really a grievance, but it's going to just be a positive shout out to someone who I thought was extremely courageous in what they did. And you could probably guess on who. I'm not going to give it away, but a lot of you can probably guess on who I might be talking about in that segment. So stay tuned for that. So just a lot of highlights from this past week of wrestling. So first off, let's talk about programming notes. We have Abby's Window tomorrow. Jeff and Jody, of course, 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They will talk about, of course, the rumors, the upcoming DLC content for WWE 2K23. That does come out this week with Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy, of course. So that is on the way. And also all the rumors and all the latest of course, about Bray Wyatt. A little bit of discussion last week, I think it was, or maybe the week before, The Undertaker saying how he would like them to handle Bray going forward, that they bring the old Bray back. So, the Wyatt family Bray. So they'll have some stuff to talk about tomorrow. So make sure you join them for that. Jeff will be putting together a video interview for Jody as well. That will get released at some point in time. We'll get back to you on that. That is with Caleb, the musician she has the segment for on Abby's window. So she was able to do an interview. I'm sure she's thrilled by being able to do that. I know she's a big fan. So stay tuned for that. Also, I will get my my ramblings on Raw out to this week as well, probably sometime on Tuesday. I don't like to do it at night because they get kind of sleepy and I wake the family up with me, talking loud. So probably it'll be sometime on Tuesday that I'll get that out. And then, just again, make sure to keep watching those videos that we're putting out. Hope you're enjoying the extra content. Jeff's got some stuff on the way as well when he gets a chance to do some psychology of the rings, a little bit of psychology in his videos that he's going to take care of. And then, of course, we're back on Thursday with Impact Wrestling, which after Slammiversary, that's going to be a must-watch show. Can't miss that one. So much going on in Impact. So those of you who come out know. So you don't want to miss that Thursday show. And we inch closer to SummerSlam. Of course, a multiverse with Impact is coming up. So just going and going and going. A lot of stuff going on. All right. Let me welcome some people in. We have Derek is here. Hey, Derek. Brandon's here. Chris is here. James Grant, Anthony Slate, and King Chris, 2 members of our channel. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us tonight. And, of course, being members of the channel, we really appreciate you. Brandon Davey is here. We've got Melonhead. Hello. We've got Chris. We've got Jason Peace. Hello, Jason. We've got Marvin in the house. We've got Alicia. Hey, Alicia. We have also Jeremy Dunderman, a member of the channel as well. Thank you, Jeremy, for being here and for being a member. We have Charles Alford, John Kessler. We've got Marcus here as well. So good amount of people here tonight. Appreciate that. Thank you for joining us. So we're going to dig right in, guys. We're going to get right into it. And we're starting off with what we all saw yesterday, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, oh my goodness. What an event that was. Slammiversary we're talking about, folks. It was great. I thought it was great. And honestly, every belt aside from one changed. But we also got the return of, yes, the man that you see in the middle of the screen there, Eric Young. So I know Joe and I did not offer up our scores last night. Well, no, we did. We did.
Yeah, we did at the very end, but that's okay.
Extended. But we didn't go into great detail in terms of why we gave those scores. So, Joe, I'll let you take it away.
Man, it just had a little bit of everything. There, like Jeff said, there aren't many pay-per-views that you can watch that you will see title changes in every major title that happen to be up for grabs. It doesn't often happen. In fact, it's mostly the latter, where you might see one change. You might see none. We've seen some pay-per-views with other companies that titles don't change hands. So the fact that they went this way, and it's almost like a complete reset button, really, because they changed like everything. I mean, we saw a change of the digital media title. Not happy with that one. My man Joe Hendry lost. But look, they went with the way of the heel. They went with Kenny King. And again, as Jeff mentioned, I think Joe Hendry will be on to some maybe bigger and better things now that he's lost that digital media championship. So, of course, we had new women's tag team champions, knockouts champions crowned. That was an amazing match, first off. But Killer Kelly and Masha, like Jeff said, man, are they going to be hard to figure out and take down from the other teams who want to get those off of them. They look absolutely just unbeatable, and not sure how they're going to go with that or who they're going to get to team up to knock them off that pedestal. But they were amazing last night. So looking forward to more from them. Of course, you can see on the left of the screen, Trinity. If you didn't stick around and watch her interview after the show, she was just almost speechless. You could see the emotion in her. And you know what? It's such a wonderful and proud moment, too, because, you know, just to see her getting that emotional. I mean, this is when I get annoyed when people talk about how Impact, it's only Impact, it doesn't mean anything. If you would see the look on her face and you saw how she was being so emotional just talking in that interview about what it meant to her to win that championship, you would feel differently about the fact that people are just, you know, making Impact sound like also rants. So, you know, I know a lot of you guys don't listen to that chatter, and I hope that that's the case for more people in the future, but, you know, super happy for her. And that match, I'll tell you, the way they booked that match, in my head, I didn't think she stood a chance. She was getting destroyed for most of that match, like picked apart by Deonna Purrazzo for almost that entire match, and then came back at the end to win it. Again, another great match. Which ones am I missing? The X Division, of course, the title. I still have it anyway. Chris Sabin went down early in that match. I don't know. I looked on Twitter last night to try to see if he was hurt. There was no Impact does a pretty good job, though, at not talking about this kind of stuff. I know when Tasha Steelz got hurt, there was no mention made of it. They keep this kind of stuff kind of private. So we really don't know, but it became really almost a no contest. It looked as if from the side view that Sabin hit his head pretty hard off of the floor, right in the front here, like right on the forehead. And so, you know, he tried to get in the ring against the referees, what they were telling him to do, and the match was over in a few, like a minute or so. Lio Rush, of course, the new champion. The men's title, of course, Alex Shelley retained over Nick Aldis. He was the only one to retain his title. And then men's tag team oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the names of the new
Subculture.
Thank you. Subculture won the men's tag team titles, which is another shocker. Bullet Club goes down. Subculture, we were talking during the match, we didn't even know if Subculture is going to stick around, if they were going to be around long enough, you know, to defend it. Well, they won the titles, and in what was a tremendous match there too. So all these new champions, Kenny King, of course, beating Joe Hendry. I mentioned Hendry losing. All these new champions, a new start, and then not just that. Then at the very end, we were expecting surprises. We got a few, right? We got Jake something, who I hope is back. We got, of course, in the Scott D'Amore match, we got Eric Young, right? We had A1 also interfere in that match as well from the crowd. And then we were all kind of expecting a surprise at the end of the women's match. But we got a surprise at the end of the men's. And that, of course, is Josh Alexander, who comes out and faces Alex Shelley in the ring, thanking him for being a role model and being the great champion that he was, but also saying that he is back. So Josh Alexander back full-time to Impact Wrestling a month before I guess he was supposed to have been back. So Josh has returned, probably going to get right in the mix and try to get that title back. So for me, I think I said last night the show was an easy 9.75. It pushed all the buttons. You had some great surprises. You had some awesome returns. You had some tremendous matches. The Ultimate X match was phenomenal. You got an interference by the Rascals in the tag team title match. The storyline and the progression. They even said on their Twitter, they said, you should have seen it coming. We warned you that we were going to do something on the show, and we did. So storyline's working. They might be next up for those titles against Subculture. We don't know. And then, of course, the whole thing with Josh. And then, you know, what's next, right? What's next now for Trinity? Who is next up? Will it be Deonna for a rematch? We don't know. But again, 9.75 for me. It was just an amazing pay-per-view. Hit all the buttons. Was very entertaining. Great matches. Great returns and great surprises. Was an amazing Slammiversary, Jeff.
Yeah, and I think, you know, because of the tease on Thursday night, I think one of the big things that people were talking about was who was going to be Scott D'Amore's partner
Yep.
against Bully Ray and Diener. And you know, there have been some speculation and some things reported out there, and we find out that it's Eric Young. And you know, I guess after he returned, there was a report that came out as to why he returned,
Hmm.
and why he left WWE. And I think at this point, I want to say kudos to Eric Young, um, for advocating for himself. I know if put in a similar situation, I probably would feel some type of way about going back, and then the person that didn't believe in me anymore enough to the point where they let me go, I'd have some issues with that too. So good on him. I think, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this in my grievance. I think though sometimes we tend to take someone's stance and we try to make it a champion for our own motives. And I've seen a few things today and last night after looking at social media a little bit, kind of like a, yeah, F you WWE. He did this, and it's like, okay, this is a personal decision for him. Again, people may not like Vince. I get it. Trust me. I I won't be, you know, cheerleading for the guy. I can tell you that. Um, but I think we have to look at things beyond company versus company, and we got to start really considering how these people feel personally. If you see that news about Eric Young and your first inclination is, let me see if I can fire this tweet off to take a shot at WWE, then you kind of have things categorized incorrectly, I would say. But yeah, Jake something showing up was pretty cool. Again, like you said, I hope he's back. Would love to see what he can do there. Man, it was just a really good night. I mean, even on the countdown show on YouTube, it was good. Good, two good matches. We got the Death Dolls and Jody Threat
Yep.
winning that against Giselle Shaw and her crew. Um, you know, Stripper Kenny, man,
Oh man.
Stripper Kenny. It's gonna be a lot of fun having him as champion. I will say that I know, we get some people that say, "Oh, I don't like Kenny King," and that's fine. I mean, if he's rubbing you the wrong way as a heel, then he's
He's
doing
doing
his
his
job.
Yeah, he's doing his job.
Yeah. So he's doing what he's supposed to do. Um, but I'm really happy for him. I hope he starts to get a little bit more recognition and people start to appreciate his work a little bit more. He's really good, really talented, and yeah, I was just blown away by last night, and I think I might even adjust my score just a little bit. I know I said I was going between a 9.5 and a 9 last night, and ended up going 9.25. I think I'm going to bump it up to a 9.5. I thought it was really good. Um, I know that we were kind of hoping, wishing, fantasy booking um, something to happen after the women's match.
Right.
To be honest, I'm glad that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So Trinity could have that moment. Uh, and yeah, she bet on herself. And that's what's so special about this. She bet on herself. So great for her. I'm happy to see that she's brought a lot of eyes to Impact, because I can tell you that people that I follow, that follow me um, on social media, that were not talking about Impact Wrestling 6 months ago, were tweeting and posting and talking about Impact Wrestling leading up to last night and beyond now. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm happy to to see her there and as champion, and it was a great match between her and Deanna. Um, that match, though, Joe, you talked about the way that it was playing out. It's kind of indicative of how Trinity has been seen leading up to her time in Impact. Now she was reigning.
Oh, we lost you a little bit.
Uh-oh. All right. What about now? Am I back?
You're back. I can hear your voice, but you're moving real slow.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
But no, I was just saying it's kind of indicative of her run in WWE. She was kind of forgotten about, even though she had championship reigns. Um, she was kind of that person that always had to overcome the adversity from
Yes.
a single standpoint.
Yeah.
So that kind of played out in live action last night in that matchup. She had to overcome a lot of odds to win that title. So kudos to her. Alex Shelley, Nick Aldis, another great match. And I mean, this is interesting now with Josh back in the fold. It's really, really interesting with Josh here. How is this going to play out? Who's next? Do we get Josh and Nick Aldis first? How does this play out? I'm ready to see what we have in store. And with Chris Sabin and Leo Rush, I'm interested to see what the follow up is with Chris Sabin, because that didn't look too good. Hopefully he's okay. And yeah, I mean, Leo Rush is coming in, and no pun intended, but making an impact in that X division. So a lot of exciting matchups that we can see with Leo Rush, and we got Kushida winning the Ultimate X. So
I forgot about Kushida. Yeah, Kushida too, of all people.
yeah,
Yeah, again, not someone anyone expected to win that.
yeah,
So yeah, he's been around, he's been in and out of there for a little bit, and he finally picks up that he wins the Ultimate X. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes now too. Obviously, oh my gosh, Jeff, if as it stands right now, it would be Kushida and Leo Rush.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow, what a match that would be. I don't know. And to me, I mentioned this to you last night on the stream. It seemed as if there were some things that may have needed to change, right? And things that may have been done a little bit on the fly because of the whole thing with Sabin. It didn't look like it was planned. If it was planned, it's kind of weird because the match was very, very short. Some people are saying maybe he would have come back later on and might have like snaked Shelley or something like that. That didn't happen. So it does seem like they had to improvise a bit. And if they did, again, you got to give kudos where they're due, because a lot of people don't do that well. It sometimes looks awkward when you have to make the matches longer than they are planned out to be. It did kind of look, Jeff, that the Eddie Edwards Kazarian match was kind of slowed down a little bit. The pace was slow. And another great match we didn't mention too.
Right.
That was very good between two, of Impact's all-time best. But yeah, listen, what they worked around, and to Jeff's point with Eric Young, and I'm gonna revisit this too in our grievance section. I gave a little preview of it earlier. It's kind of the other half of the grievance part for me, and I'll touch on the whole Eric Young thing then. But I don't know, man. It was just a tremendous show, and we have seen them have tremendous shows all year. We've seen some tremendous Slammiversaries from them in the past. I'm going to say this is right up there with the ones that I've watched over the past 4 years of doing the show. It was really good, and they survived a part of them that they could have crashed and burned. They lost their champion in the men's division. They lost Josh Alexander. They lost Mickie James in the women's division, who was also a champion. They could have crashed and burned, but they didn't. And so credit where credit is due. And also, one real quick note, credit where credit is due to the man on my right on the screen. I don't know how he does it. and again, you're probably going to want to listen to these psychology videos he comes out with, because we all kid him and say, you work for Impact. He just knows the psychology of the sport, and he knows it really well. And that's why, again, he could take a bow. You guys all know that watch our show. He predicted that return of Eric Young halfway or earlier through our show on Thursday, when no one was talking about it. No one even thought of it. And it was before Scott D'Amore made a phone call at the end of the show that gave a little bit of hints. So, got to give it to him. Where it gets it from, how he does it, I don't know. All I know is, he's doing it for us. So we got him on our side. And that's a good thing. But yeah, man, it was a phenomenal night. It really was. It was a great show. Great show.
Yeah, and I did not take a victory lap. I try to remain humble. But no, I think, I appreciate you saying that, because I love professional wrestling. I've always wanted to do something in the business beyond what I did, and hopefully one day I'll have that opportunity. But if not, I love doing what I do here and predicting those things and breaking those things down when people care to hear it. And yeah, I felt like the tea leaves were kind of pointing that way. Um, Especially with Diener getting involved, and then they were in Canada, and you got Scott D'Amore back in action, so Team Canada, so it's got to be one of those folks. And I just kind of felt like it was going to be EY. So yeah, it was. I got one right.
You got more than one, Jeff, over the past several years. And again, it was another example of them it was an impromptu thing. Macklin just got hurt. That just happened. So this wasn't in the works. That was just an impromptu thing that they got together. They put Diener in there, and it was probably all in motion. The wheels were going. They knew, okay, we got to get a replacement for Macklin. Let's see, who are we going to take? Well, it's going to be Diener. Who's going to be the best guy to come and return against Diener? And then, lo and behold, they're in talks probably with Eric Young and everything that happened there that we found out about yesterday. And it was just a perfect thing to do. By the way, Jeff, I heard you say you try to be humble. I remember when I was a young man growing up, there was an old country song that went, "Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way." So there you go. All right, we're moving on. That is our Slammiversary wrap up. So again, we hope you guys all enjoyed it. And those of you who are the Impact peeps, don't forget to join us every single Thursday for Impact Wrestling for the watch along. If you're not a member of their Insiders channel, oh God, do I hate saying that. I want copyrights. But if you're not a part of it, go and join it. It's like literally $5 a month. Money well spent. You get every week's show, so you can watch along with us on YouTube, and you also get the minor pay-per-view events, not the big ones, but you get the smaller pay-per-views on their YouTube channel as well. So go and do that also. All right, Jeff, let's move forward. We got a lot of other things to discuss.
Yeah, let's talk about this. We mentioned this, but the unlikely success and pairing of Adam Cole and MJF, and it's working, Joe. It's working quite well, as a matter of fact.
The promos with them are hilarious. You gotta give credit where credit is due. When creative hits on something, it becomes a thing that's completely entertaining. If you would have told me that this was going to happen after the match that they had, that match went a half an hour? Yeah, there was a half an hour time limit. It was a time limit draw because no winner at the end of it. He was about to count 3. We all know what happened there. If you would have told me that these two would all of a sudden become best buds after that match, I would have never thought that. Like, I would just never, it didn't seem like something that could happen. The fact that the two of them hate each other. Now, look, again, we think about psychology of wrestling, right? We know where this is going. Jeff, I have to go back, and you go back to older wrestling sometimes, and you got to recall one team up of the Mega Powers, Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, became a tag team for a little while. Everybody's like, oh my God, these are the biggest two guys in the sport. Who are going to beat these dudes? And then what happens? Well, Elizabeth got involved. And then what happened? Well, the Mega Powers explode. And then what happened? Then you get the big match against each other, right? Which was humongous. So I'm sure that's where they're going to go with this somehow, some way. Now you got Roderick Strong getting involved a little bit. And listen, there's rumors swirling around too. Now we all know what the rumors are and everything like that. But what I'm reading out there is that this whole thing is a ploy by MJF, which you could certainly see, and he's going to get Adam Cole's ex-buddies to turn on him. And that's what this is all about. So we'll see. That's one way they can go. But this is just, I mean, when they were playing the video games, I was literally laughing out loud. It's funny stuff. It's good storytelling. This is exactly what AEW needs. And for their two top stars basically right now that are going to go at it at some point in one of the big events, whether that's going to be the next one, that big one coming up in London. I don't know if they'll pull the plug that soon or somewhere else down the road. But that's, I think, where this is leading, Jeff. But listen, it's comedy gold, and it's written very well, and it's great stuff. I think you're muted, bud.
Yeah, somehow I
there
got
you
muted.
go.
I don't know how, but
You're
but no, this has been so much fun. This has just been a lot of fun. And for MJF, I love MJF. I think he's a throwback in terms of his heel work. But to be able to showcase a different side of him, I think has been really good for his character overall, not just right now, but going forward. Because it shows that he can do a little bit more. He can act a little bit with really gaining someone's trust, and then because that's where we think it's going to head, right? Where this is going to implode at some point, right? That it's bound to happen. So, I really like this team. I didn't think I was hoping that it would go this direction. But if I'm being honest, I didn't have faith that they'd go there or stick with it long enough to pay the dividends that they're seeing right now. But I'm really happy that they're letting this thing play out and really giving it some TV time to see these two becoming a 80s buddy cop movie in front of our eyes.
Oh man, Lethal Weapon, right? I mean, hey, look, that it is. It's good booking. Whoever is doing the creative behind it is just good booking. It's a good pairing to get the two guys who just hate each other, get them together. Whether one's posing to be the friend of the other, whatever it is, it's funny stuff. It works. It's been done before. Like I said, that's just one example. James Grant mentions the Rock and Sock connection with Mick Foley and the Rock. You can go back and look through wrestling history at a lot of these team ups over the years between people that were very odd at first that you thought, and then the team stayed together for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it blows up into a big match with the two of them. So it's been done many, many times in wrestling. It's worked out really well most of the time that it's done. Both of these guys are huge, huge stars. MJF, the biggest heel, or one of the biggest heels in the business, definitely the biggest one in AEW, and Adam Cole, everybody knows Adam Cole and what he is. He could be the guy. He could be the one they have lined up to take that title off of MJF. And maybe that's where this is leading to. He's huge. He's a huge star. We all remember him from NXT. And so, it's been really good. And like I said, you got to give kudos where it's due. I don't watch AEW as much as the others, but I've been tuning in recently because I'm trying to get to see that is one of the biggest draws for me to watch the show. So, all right, Jeff, what do we got next? I think we're going to stay in AEW, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna stay in AEW and talk about the winners of the Owen Hart tournament. On the women's side, Willow Nightingale, and on the men's side, Ricky Starks. And Willow beat Ruby Soho, and Ricky Starks beat one CM Punk.
I gotta say this. I love both of these athletes. Love both of them. Ricky Starks, listen, I thought this kid was gonna be big back when I was watching him on the YouTube NWA show. He just had it. He had the personality. He reminded me a little of The Rock. With the way he carried himself and the ego and the way he presents himself, and he's a fantastic wrestler. And you knew that when they got him, this guy's just going to climb the ladder. And the fact that he was put over by CM Punk, smart decision. I'm glad CM Punk didn't win it. And I'm glad he put this kid over because he deserves it. He's already been up the ladder pretty far. And maybe this is where he goes over. But he had that match obviously recently with MJF. So he's had big matches down there. And again, I love him, man. I think he's fantastic. He's going to be on top of this business, I think, for a long time. He's just got everything. He's got everything you want in a professional wrestler. He's got the attitude. He's got the body. He's got everything you'd want in a professional wrestler. And Willow's awesome too. I love seeing these people succeed. Of course, she won over in New Japan as well, right? When Sasha unfortunately got hurt. So she's making a huge name for herself as well. And what a great personality in ring she has. And two very young budding stars that AEW has. And again, you want to ride the wave with these guys. You want to get them up the ladder. And it looks as if with the wins in this, that's in what direction they're heading. Both way up for them. And I couldn't be happier with the choices. And I think it's awesome. The sky's the limit for both of them, Jeff.
I agree. I think Ricky Starks, if you're watching this show and you don't know who Ricky Starks is, YouTube, look him up, look up his promos. Like Joe said, the stuff he did in NWA was great.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, the stuff he's been doing in AEW has been fantastic. I know some people had some criticism for a little stretch there. He wasn't doing a lot, but patience, and you see where he is now. Willow is awesome. She's been awesome for a long time. Glad people are finally getting a chance to see more of her.
Yep.
And her involved in a little bit more. I do feel bad for Ruby. I do, because she's been so close, and
yeah,
I think that's a part of where they're going to go with her story eventually. But she's been so close, and I feel really, really bad. So hopefully she gets an opportunity at some point. But yeah, I mean, good stuff. I mean, I saw a little bit of the Punk Ricky match. Didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw a little bit of it. Gonna go back and watch Collision from last night, because from all reports, there was a really, really darn good tag match. So I'm gonna go watch that.
Yeah, we were hearing that during our show last night in the chat. So, yeah, man. Look, things are, and that's what I said. This is it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. You can get those people that are out there hating on stuff all the time, which you're going to have that no matter what. But what these companies are all doing right now, what Impact's doing, rising up. AEW with the stuff that we just talked about, rising up. They've got they've got their biggest pay-per-view ever coming up. Let's face it. That London pay-per-view for them, their biggest crowd they're ever going to have up to this point. Huge. So they've got big stuff coming up. WWE has SummerSlam coming up. They're going through the, maybe the final stages of this bloodline thing. So everybody's got big stuff going on. And it's exciting. It really is, and it's great for the fans. The fans are getting amazing PLEs, amazing pay-per-views, amazing shows, and it's just awesome. There's just a lot of really awesome things going on in all these companies. So, all right, man. I think. In fact, well, segue. We've got the Bloodline next.
You did very well with that.
Right? I didn't even mean to.
Yeah, Jey Uso continues to be a thorn in the side of the Bloodline. Still going after Roman Reigns, needing a shot at him right now because he just took out his brother. So
yes, the revenge angle, of course, for the up and coming one who wants to take the head guy off the throne, who just took out his brother, and of course they mentioned that his brother's going to be out for a while, so no backup for Jey Uso at all. It looks like the deck is stacked. If they go at it at SummerSlam, which I'm guessing will happen, man, I don't know. How is Jey going to overcome? You've got Heyman over there who does sneaky stuff, and you've got Solo Sikoa on that other side as well. Or is it that big turn that we're going to get? Is it going to be the whole thing where he sees the guy getting beat up and beat down, and all of a sudden he snaps and then he turns as well on Roman Reigns? Is that where they're going with it? I don't know. But again, how they keep this going and keep this to the level that it's at is beyond me. Next week, it seems that, Roman's almost there every other week now. Leading up to SummerSlam. And now next week, you're going to have rules, what they're calling rules of engagement for Roman and for Jey Uso. So we don't know what that's going to be. Is it going to be how they're going to have their matches? What kind of matches it's going to be at SummerSlam? We all know that that's probably where it's going. But again, there's still that open discussion. Is Jey Uso going to beat Roman? Is Roman's title reign coming to an end at SummerSlam? Or is this just going to keep continuing after SummerSlam and forward until what some people think will be next WrestleMania? And then where is Jimmy? Does Jimmy come back looking for some revenge? And maybe he's the guy. Maybe it's not Jey. So many different ways they can still go. Jeff, what boggles my mind with this? 3+ years and counting, and it still isn't boring, and it's still must-watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
Astonishing. In this day and age of we need instant gratification, this astonishes me that it's held people's attention. And I got a shout out to Thunder Rosa, because Thunder Rosa, I was listening to Busted Open last week, and she talked about this and said very similar things. She's like, you have never seen a storyline go this long and hold people's attention. And so you've got to give a shout out and kudos to everyone involved, whether it's Roman Reigns, hate him or like him. And she even likened him to an actor. She's saying like the stuff he's doing is actor material. And that's coming from a fellow person in the profession. That's big, that's big ups to someone. And that's exactly what this is. That he is just doing an unbelievable job. How about when he got down 2 weeks ago, got down on one knee? I don't want this anymore. The emotion coming out, handing over the title. I don't need it. And then bloop, crotch shot. Yep. Just it's just so good. And again, like I said, man, keep enjoying it. Don't rush it, maybe necessarily, because you're not going to see anything like this anytime soon, and maybe never again, because I can't remember anything going this long unless you go back to territory days, and even then it was a much different time in the territories. They carried feuds from territory to territory to territory.
Yeah.
So much different time, but it is just it's still must-see TV, Jeff. Every single week they're advertising that as the main thing on SmackDown, and every single week people are tuning in.
Yeah, and again, it's really like you have to liken it to a movie franchise almost, or a really good television series. And you're thinking, okay, surely they can't hook me in even more. And then they do it. So now what I'm looking at is this whole thing with Solo just going to blow up now? Or is that how they drag it out another 6 months or so?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for at this point.
Yep.
I will say, because the question that we all ask is, if it's only Jay, how is he going to even up the odds?
Very true.
Roman has made a lot of enemies during his run. Some of those enemies could come out and help settle the odds, we'll say.
If you're looking a little bit forward ahead, where let's say Roman keeps the title and you're looking ahead to Survivor Series, you don't think for a second that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn wouldn't join Jey Uso? Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Maybe even a certain Cody Rhodes might jump in that little in that Survivor Series also, and you might get a major beatdown on one Roman Reigns from a lot of his past people that he wronged throughout this entire 3 years storyline. So yeah, it's something to think about. If you're under the impression that he's not going to lose the title at SummerSlam, and a lot of people are, if you're under that impression, then maybe Survivor Series becomes all that much more interesting. And then, of course, you turn to the Saudi pay-per-view, and then you turn it over to next year already. But man, like I said, don't rush it and just enjoy it, because, again, you may never see anything like this again in the world of professional wrestling. So enjoy it. It's been great stuff. I think if Solo turns on SummerSlam, we could get a War Games at Survivor Series, KO, Sami, Jay, Jimmy, Solo versus Roman and 4 other people. I think Roman will lose when Heyman turns on him. Heyman could turn on him. I mean, Jody pointed out, I think that the plates on the one title that Paul is holding are Brock Lesnar's plates. So I don't know if that's been the case the entire time, but that's something to think about. Does he turn back and go back with Brock? He could. Paul is one of those guys who will ditch you in a dime. If he sees that momentum is going away from you and you're starting to lose ground, he will turn like that. So you can't trust Paul Heyman. He's a snake. So, yeah, but man, it's been awesome. It's been awesome. Hello, Hassan. How are you? I think Roman will lose when Heyman turns. Yes, I think Rikishi could get involved. I don't know about any of the outside involvement. A lot of people were saying The Rock. He's such a busy guy. I don't know that he would. Rikishi, again, I don't know. You might have a one-off kind of a thing. I don't know if we don't know these retired guys, what kind of shape they're in, whether or not they like to travel and stuff like that. And so we really don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe like a video package or something. Maybe he comes out on a video or something. You might see Damian. Who knows? It's possible, I guess. Solo needs to turn on Roman. Is Rikishi going to get involved? Tell me a story that's any better right now. None. Just look at the length. There is no story out there in professional wrestling that is going as long as this is that you can even compare it to. So none. Simple. All right, Jeff. I think it might be time for everybody's favorite segment of our show.
I think so. I think it's time. So
let's roll it.
Let's get into it.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about
it. Is time for the airing of grievances, ladies and gentlemen. And the most people's favorite part of our show. I always get a chuckle out of that. I've got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're going to hear about it. It's one of our favorite segments too. Jeff's got a good grievance. I've got and Jeff, if you don't mind, I'm going to go first because I think mine are going to be pretty short. So I've got basically, it's true. I've got one grievance and I've got one. We could use this segment for anything we want because it's our show, right? Hey, C Wrestling, how are you? Jason Stauffer is here. Welcome, Jason. Also a member of our channel. Thank you for coming in and being a member, of course. But just for this once, I'm going to shout someone out in the wrestling industry. And if you heard Jeff speak of it a little bit earlier, you're going to probably know who it is that I'm talking about. I am going to mention and give kudos to Eric Young. Reason being is because, you make a decision in life and you go to another, you're in Impact for a good while and you think to yourself, okay, I want a little something more. And so WWE is out there, right? Now, WWE is, for some people, the pinnacle. It's the top of the mountain. You can't go anywhere else, right? Top of the mountain. So he decides to go over to WWE. And so he did. And months go by, and we really didn't hear anything about him. We certainly didn't see him. Like I said, I mentioned this last night. The closest we got to anything was speculation that he may have been the MC of the game show during Bray's Funhouse segment. We don't know. It sounded an awful lot like him, but there was never any confirmation of it. And again, just disappeared. And as Jeff said, the rumors started to swirl after Scott D'Amore's conversation on the phone about who would be his partner at Slammiversary last night. And, Jeff mentioned it midway through the show about how, he was thinking maybe, with the Team Canada tease and stuff could it be Eric Young? Well, it turned out it was. And then we find out after, from many sources, saying that Eric Young left WWE, basically, terminated his contract, or they let him out of it, whatever. I'm not going to get into the whole legalese of everything, but and he returned to Impact Wrestling, and they say it was because of his convictions and because of the whole thing about Vince being back involved. And I have to say that, again, my hat is off to him. That is not an easy decision to make. And he made it. And some people will look at him and say, you're crazy. You had it good. You're at the top of the mountain, man. Why would you take a step backwards? Why would you go back to Impact? People might say, right? We know a lot of people out on Twitter might say that kind of stuff. We certainly wouldn't, and he did it. He had the courage to do it, to stick by his convictions, to do what he felt was right, and to stand up for what he believed in, and to say, all right, I'm out. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna sit by and just go through this, and I'm out of here. Now, I made a point yesterday during the show saying that how hard it is to go back to work for someone who got rid of you in the first place. Never easy to do in any job. If you had a job you were fired from at some point by someone, and then you ended up, maybe having to go back there at some point, it is very difficult to do. Now, I'm sure he didn't see it coming because at that point, Vince wasn't around. So, and think of all the other people that are in WWE that are probably going through this same thing in their minds every single day that they go to work, especially a lot of the women. Now that Vince is kind of back, right? He's not there always at the shows, but there's been enough out there saying that he's changing scripts, he's doing things behind the scenes, and not always at the events, but he's doing a lot of things again, right? With whatever he's doing. And there's probably a lot of people who might be in the back of their mind not happy, the same as Eric Young wasn't. And what I would say is that you might now see, and it might not be tomorrow, it might not be 4 months, 5 months from now, but you might see down the line some others may follow in his footsteps. Eric Young has been in wrestling for a good long time. He's a veteran in the ring. He's pretty well respected by a lot of people. And there might be some people that might say, well, man, this guy can do this. And he is happy. And he is going to flourish where he is. You know what? I'm going to make that leap too. I'm going to do that too. And you might see that happen. Because You can look at WWE and look at some of these athletes. You guys all know who they are. I don't have to name them all. And you might see that some of them may not feel like they're in a very good spot in that company. Maybe not being in the limelight, maybe not really getting a lot of matches with WWE. And they might think to themselves, you know what? I'm moving on. So, and you can definitely see that Eric Young was absolutely happy. And that's what's most important. I don't care where anyone is, honestly. I don't. As long as they're happy about it. I made a mention on one of my videos about Tennille Dashwood. And I had said that I was a little unhappy with how she's being used there after how good she was in Impact. And, but, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, if that's her dream and she truly wants to be there, and I know she's there with Madcap Moss, who is her, you know, they're engaged and stuff like that. So that I understand. It's family. But if that's truly her dream and she's happy with what she's doing, then that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Because we got to remember they're people and they have to be happy as well. So yeah, I just wanted to shout that out. I wanted to say kudos to Eric Young because in a lot of there wouldn't be a lot of people in this world or in the world of wrestling who would decide to do that kind of thing and make a bold move like that. So kudos to him, and I'm happy he's back. My one quick grievance. Shout out to Shotzi Blackheart for doing what she did. Her sister has cancer, which is horrible. And she decided to shave her hair. And you saw her do that on the show. Of course, they wrote it into a storyline. And the disgusting comments that it never fails to amaze me how disgusting some people can be. And I don't care if they're Twitter keyboard warriors, whatever the case might be, but how you can, man, I just don't understand. Like from a standpoint of, you know, there's people who are just, you know, they're like bratty 13-year-olds, right? Or however, and they're just trying to get laughs, right? They're just trying to get attention, right? They're attention starved individuals. They're just trying to get some attention on Twitter, and they go and they put these crazy, disgusting things out there to try to get people to laugh at them and chuckle about it and stuff like that. But where's the excuse for people who are older? Where's the excuse for people who sometimes are my age that are making these kind of comments out there and just absolutely disgusting comments? And, you know, you should, it's just overwhelming how bad Twitter can be. And it's just overwhelming how bad social media can be. It's just overwhelming sometimes how bad some people can be, that it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Like, even, you know, man, and again, I'm not going to go into this for a very long time. It just disgusts me. And I really I wish, honestly, and I know it won't happen because, you know, Elon Musk is running it and he's all about freedom and letting everybody do what they want and spout what they want and say what they. I really wish that somebody like that should just be banned, like instantaneously, that Twitter could review that and just ban them. Gone. Get them away. But you know what? It wouldn't matter anyway. They'd make up a fake account. They'd come right back because that's what these people do. It's just outrageously disgusting. And I'm sorry that she has to see that. I'm sorry that she has to go through it, as if she's not going through enough. Her family and her aren't going through enough. But then she has to see something like that, which is from less than human person that is just absolutely disgusting. So, yeah, but that's it. I just wanted to address it. It's just ridiculous. So, all right, Jeff, you're up, man.
So you had some great stuff there. Yeah, Twitter and social media in general is just a cesspool at times. People hide behind screens and keyboards and phones or whatever else, and they say things to people, disgusting things to people online that they would never say to a person's
No.
face. So yeah. My grievance is really, really simple. And it's just this is why I don't spend a lot of time on social media, because the times that I do, I find myself seeing stuff that I really don't need to see and becoming disappointed with how people take wrestling. Wrestling is entertainment. I know a lot of us love it. We've loved it since we were children. Wrestling is entertainment. I can tell you that wrestling is not going to pay your bills tomorrow unless you're signed to a major company. Um, as a fan, wrestling will not pay your bills. Um, it's not going to solve any of the societal problems. Um, Wrestling is there for our entertainment. And because one person enjoys one form of entertainment, doesn't make them stupid, doesn't make them anything other than a fan of that product. And if they choose not to like the product that you like, it doesn't mean you have to bash them and call them bad or silly or disgusting names. Um, some of the things that I've seen on social media over the last couple weeks are absolutely disgusting. I'm not going to get into the details of some of it because it's not our story to tell, but you've got wrestlers and podcasters going back and forth at each other, and fans of each kind of chiming in and being despicable human beings. Um, you've got the stuff with Shotzi, but then I continuously see these arguments between AEW and WWE fans. And let me go ahead and say, before anybody says, well, the AEW fans are horrible, let me tell you something. It comes from both sides.
Yeah, it does.
And it's disgusting from both sides. I've seen it personally. So
Yep.
They're both sides are guilty. The last time I checked, Joe, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are tons of executives on Twitter for these television companies, and they just have a vested interest in ratings. Maybe it's just something that, a lot of CEOs or executives just have a lot of time to create wrestling centric accounts on Twitter to talk about ratings of wrestling companies. My thing is this: whether 5 people watch it or whether 5 million people watch it, if it's something I like, I'm going to watch it. I don't care about your opinion as to why I decide to watch what I watch. And if you choose to watch something that I don't watch, that's all good for you. I'm glad that you have something that you enjoy too. And then this is the shameless plug slash uh plead to people that are wrestling fans. If you can, invest $1. Watch Impact Wrestling. I will say that the fan base is a pretty welcoming fan base. People are not gatekeepers. They're not going to make you feel like an inferior fan because you're coming into a storyline in the middle of it. They'll help you catch up on it. But if you find yourself getting involved in the back and forth, if you feel like your blood pressure rises because someone has an opinion on a WWE show or vice versa, an AEW show, and you feel like your blood pressure's rising, like you just gotta respond on Twitter, take a deep breath and realize that there are other options out there for your wrestling viewing experience, and some darn good options, by the way. And that's it. Just be nice to people.
Yeah. It's not hard. It's really not hard. Obviously it is for some people. I saw a pretty snarky comment that we got up in the chat a little bit up a ways that I had to kind of look at a few times. So sorry if I was a little distracted, but it obviously is hard for some people. Yeah, it's a little farther up. It was from someone I kind of really didn't expect it from, but whatever. Again, if that's what gives you joy, is to be a moron, then go right ahead and do it. I wasn't going to give it any attention either way. Oh man, all Brander, Joe and Jeff speaking facts. People need to just enjoy wrestling. I've known a lot of people on social media who like AEW, and they're good friends of mine. Social media is not bad. The concept of being able to communicate in real time across the world is amazing. The problem is the people that that is within. I mean, it's the driver, not the car. That's the way it is. I am the same way. I love Impact, and sometimes I get bashed for it, but I don't care. I love watching it, or I am watching it. Yeah, it's all about what you like. It's all about what you like. It's entertainment, and everybody's opinion on entertainment is going to be different. We all have different things. We're all different people. We all get entertained by different stuff. So cool, man. That is our airing of grievances for the week. Hope you enjoyed that segment. We always do, and we're moving on to our little thing we like to call sell or no sell. You guys can play along with this. Basically, what we do is we're going to either sell something or no sell an idea of this past week in wrestling and what we think of it. So here we go with the segment. Jeff, what is our first sell or no sell for the night?
All right. So first one, LA Knight should win the U.S. title, Joe. Sell or no sell?
Look, say what you will about this man. He has been amazing. So many people bash on that Mountain Dew Pitch Black match that he had with Bray, but let me tell you, let me talk to you. Worked out. It worked out well for this dude. He has just been jetting up the ladder. And obviously we're supposed to have a match at WrestleMania. Something happened with that. It didn't happen, but this guy is just climbing the ladder. And absolutely 100% selling this. I'm reading rumors where he's going to get a push similar or akin to a Stone Cold Steve Austin rub. I mean, that's huge. And this guy, he's again, we talked about Ricky Starks earlier. This guy's just got it. He's just got it. He's been, I still laugh, Jeff, with that video with Joe Hendry and him. Oh my God. But this guy just has it, man. He's got all the tools. He's got the attitude. He can do the promos. He's got the fans behind him now 100%. When he didn't win that ladder match, man, people were booing. No doubt he is next up for that United States Championship. I definitely would sell this, and I do think that LA Knight is going to get gold very soon. By the way, Jeff, one real quick thing, and I saw Big Dan mention it, and thank you for doing so. Got to just do some breaking news here. This is from WrestleOps. Prayers up for Bayley. Referee threw up the X sign as she was lying in the ring, holding her knee, stopping the match, and assisted backstage at tonight's WWE live event.
Oh, man.
So that's horrible news for Bayley. She was out for a long, long time before.
With the knee injury.
With the knee injury. If it's the same one, that's a real shame. She was out for well over a year. And if she tore something again there, whether it's an AC, we don't want to speculate, but again, just positive thoughts to Bayley, and that's a real shame that happened. So just wanted to break in there. But go ahead, Jeff. Sell or no sell in LA Knight?
Well,
I love it.
I'm gonna sell it too.
I love it.
I think that here's where I think people get confused. And I said this in my video, the recap of Money in the Bank. But he reminds me, and this is not to say that he's a ripoff or a carbon copy or any of that, but he reminds me of a combination of The Rock and Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the best possible way, as the nicest possible compliment, because he's a throwback.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds us of what guys in the 90s did on the microphone. He reminds us in terms of his work, his wrestling style. He does some cool things, and he really feeds off the crowd. I mean, that stuff, that it brings me back. So I think sometimes when people see that, especially the older generation, they say things like, "Oh, he's copying." No, he's found his own lane, and he's going down that lane that works for him. So I really love LA Knight. I really hope that he's the one to beat uh Austin Theory. I will say that I understand some people's problems with Austin Theory. I think he has a big future still, but yeah, I think it might be time to get LA Knight some gold. So I'm gonna be saying yeah to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're both saying yes to that one. Yeah. That's pretty much a no-brainer. He's
Yeah,
shooting up the ladder. I think it's his time. So absolutely.
yeah.
All right. What is the next one?
All right, next one. Going back over to AEW. AEW should consider keeping MJF and Adam Cole paired long term. Sell or no sell?
I'm gonna sell it because I think it's just good for business, and you don't have to rush something like this when it's working. Again, we go back to the whole thing that we are just talking about with Roman and the Bloodline, right? We're kind of in the era of storylines that can last a little bit longer than they normally did. They don't have to just rush it and make it end in one pay per view, right? You drag it out a little bit. The fans seem to love it. There's no reason to to have it end right away at the very next pay-per-view. I mean, I get it. I would guess I would get why they would do it if they wanted to do it in London, because of the crowd that they're getting there and stuff like that. So I get it. It's kind of a good for business thing. But me, I don't know. It seems like they've struck lightning in a bottle here. And I would, if there's one little thing about AEW is that they don't tend to keep storylines going for any length of time. And I'm not even comparing it to the Roman stuff because that's unusual. That's rare. But, they don't really seem to keep stuff going for longer periods of time. It's much more, little short-term things here and there. But this one, I do think they should keep it going just a little longer, even if it's through a couple of big pay-per-views, maybe have it at their last pay-per-view of the year, the last larger pay-per-view, going into next year or whatever. But I'd keep it going a little longer. I think that it's I think they should keep it going a little bit longer, Jeff.
Oh man. I think you said sell it.
Yep.
I love it!
See, I struggled with this one earlier. I was even, thinking of the question. I was like, man, I'm gonna no sell it.
Okay.
And the reason I'm not gonna no sell it is because, let's be honest, all of us are a little bit petty and a little bit messy, and we like to see the implosion. Like, we're all waiting for the implosion of the bloodline, like the final thing that says, yeah, this is done now. The lead up to this has been great, but let's be honest, the breakup, the back and forth, the promos on each other, it's gonna be a thing of beauty.
Yep.
So I kind of want to see what happens when things turn and they're no longer a team, and how they build this feud and how long they can keep it going, because they've done some stuff like with Heyman, and they've built a couple things out, but I really want to see what their end game is for Adam Cole and MJF when it comes to their title match, because we know it's coming. So yeah, I think I want to see that. I think it's a great team. I love seeing their chemistry and the comedic timing between the two. I love it. It's been great. And I want to see a little bit more of it, but I kind of want to see what happens when these two are on opposing sides.
Mhm.
How brutal they can be with the jabs and the insults.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Well, there you go. Yeah, you can really, it can really go either way, and I see that
Yeah.
the chat's looking that way too. We got some no cells, we got some cells out there. Hello, Imru, how are you? Both are legends. Cell if it's long term, no cell, said James Grant. This is perfect pairing. Hope Adam Cole doesn't go heel on the elite cell. No cell, no point in giving the title if they are going to feud over the AEW title. Cells, no cell. A lot of people are split on this too. Okay. Big Dan says cell. Again, unless it's Chris Jericho, then AEW keeps it going forever. All right, well there you go, and we have one more. Jeff, what's the last one?
All right. So the last one, we got to talk about this bloodline stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
I mean, you got to. Jay Uso should be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. Sell or no sell?
this is a really hard one
This
because
is
you to have him be the one to do it goes completely full circle because he was the one who Roman fought against first. He recruited him first. They had matches. Remember all the way back when he had a match with Roman at a pay per view, and kind of Roman got him to submit and be submissive to him, and that's what started this whole thing. So the whole thing comes full circle. It's like a movie. It goes all the way back. However, in this case, in this particular case, I'm going to no sell it because I do think that the long term here is going to be Solo Sikoa. It just is looking that way every single week. You're seeing the struggle from him, which he's doing very well, by the way. You're seeing the struggle with him where he just does that little hesitation about not necessarily wanting to follow his orders, not wanting to attack his brother. And then you see remember when he got that little halo that Roman wears, not the halo, but the necklace, and he held it for a second and he looked at it, just all those little nuances where you just know that he is going to turn. And that's going to be the big thing where the young guy rises up to the top. And remember, guys, when the Usos came out and both of them took a knee and looked at Solo, right? So all the little hints have been there along the way. So I do not think Jey Uso will win it. I think if he did, I'd be okay with it because it makes sense. So either way they go with this would make a lot of sense. But I think more long term that I think Solo Sikoa is the one that wins. And if you look at it from that standpoint, Jeff, you almost have a perfect storyline in that too, in that Solo can enter the Royal Rumble. Solo wins the Royal Rumble. He could choose the champion right now. Who knows if that could be Seth, if it could be Cody at that time, we don't know. Roman probably thinks he's going to choose either one of those, and he says, nope, I'm challenging you at WrestleMania next year. So that's exactly how the story could go, especially now that we all kind of know that Cody went the other direction. Cody came out and was going to talk to Seth, remember, a couple of Raws ago before he was interrupted by Brock. So I do think that Cody and Seth are going to be the ones that are going to fight probably at Mania for that title, and that could be the title that Cody ends up winning. He's saying now after the press conference that that's what he wants. So that has changed. So now that that's the case, Solo Sikoa winning makes all that much more sense, and it could go to next WrestleMania if that's how they want to play it. So I'm no selling it, Jeff, for that reason.
I'm gonna play that for you. I can tell you this. I really want to sell this because I think one of the unsung heroes in this entire storyline is Jay.
Oh,
And
no doubt.
You think back to the very beginnings of this, while Jimmy was injured.
Yep.
And I mean, you think about everything that's transpired over 3 years, that in order for a storyline in today's society to work for 6 months, let alone 3 years,
Mhm.
you got to have some special things going on. And this has been special. They've pulled the right strings at all the right times. I don't think that Jay is the one to do it. So I'm going to no sell it because ultimately I think Solo is the one to do it. They've planted those seeds. And I want you to even think back to an encounter with Cody. Cody kept telling him that he's not ready.
Yep.
I,
Yeah.
I find that more interesting today than I did when that comment was made initially. So
Mm.
I think that Solo's going to be the one, and I could see Solo and Cody going at it at WrestleMania next year.
Okay.
I could see that being a main event, and it wouldn't surprise me if Roman was in another. Not sure who against, but I just think that could happen next year. I think they'll drag this out all the way till WrestleMania next year. And to be honest with you, why would you stop it? Don't stop it. If you have more wrinkles, if you have more things that you can add to the story, some nuances, some layers, go for it. I'm down for it.
Let me just put this little tidbit out there because this was mentioned on Busted Open. Next year, on a Friday night, which would be a SmackDown, a few months after Mania, it would be the day that Roman would eclipse Hulk Hogan.
Mm.
Now, Dave LaGreca was the one who mentioned, wouldn't it be pretty amazing if he comes out and listen, we all know Hulk Hogan's been there. Now, I know Hulk Hogan's having a lot of back problems and he had a hard time walking around and stuff like that. But wouldn't it be amazing if they just happen to get him at the arena and Roman comes out and be like, all right, I'm better than you. I put you in my rearview mirror. It's not like these other guys that can't be around or but to have that happen, maybe that's what they're going to go for. I don't think he would I don't think he would go for the number one spot. I that's kind of a, Bruno is kind of considered, like such a big legend in the business. I don't think that they do that, but to take out Hogan, who is a guy that's not very liked anymore anyway, would maybe be something they might want to do. So think about it. And it falls on a SmackDown Friday. So if they want to continue it, and like Jeff said, it's still been really good. If they want to keep doing it, they want to keep him having that title, they want to drag this out, there's another milestone that he could end up beating after WrestleMania next year. So, all right. Well, that is our Sell or No Sell segment. Thank you guys very much for playing along. We appreciate it. And we are moving on to our next topic, which is our 3 favorite moments of the week. I have a funny feeling this may be impact-filled, especially for me.
Yeah, I think so.
I can name 3 favorite moments from a particular promo that I saw on Impact Wrestling twice. But anyway, so think of what your favorite 3 moments are. Play along with us. And we're going to start, of course, with number 3. So go 3, go 2, go 1, go along with us. And we're going to start with our number 3 favorite moment of the week. Jeff, what is your number 3?
Well, we've talked about it a couple times in this show. That's the MJF and Adam Cole stuff.
Mhm.
It's been great. I've enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people are enjoying it. A lot of people are liking this other side of MJF. So that's my number 3.
Okay. All right. Um, my number 3 is also going to be in the AEW side, and I'm going to go with the fact of that Ricky Starks won that match and is now, getting to the forefront of AEW. Some people kind of thought they used that word that I hate. That he's buried. That when he lost to, oh my gosh. My brain isn't working, but when he got up there and he had the match for the title and then he lost the match, everybody kind of thought, he's going back down the ladder again. Like I said earlier, I'm really, really happy for Ricky Starks, and I'm glad he won that Owen Hart challenge. And again, I said sky's the limit for him. I really believe that he could certainly be a future champion for them. And I fully expect that to happen. Just very, very happy to see Ricky Starks doing well. And that's my number 3 moment. I had to go back and watch it because obviously that was on Collision. And we end up seeing that because we were doing Impact. Let's see. We got some people's number 3s. Cora Jade versus Kalani Jordan, says Alexa Bliss Gamer. Number 3, Josh Alexander's promo. So Dylan saying Josh's return. Imru saying Usos kicking Roman Reigns. My number 3 moment of the week is Subculture winning the tag team title, says John Kessler. Very good. Number 3, tied. Pac and Kota Ibushi, 5th members of BCC and Golden Elite this Wednesday for Blood and Guts. And Eric Young's return to Impact Wrestling. 3, Dirty Dango and Masha Killer Kelly promo. Yeah, Dirty Dango's been hilarious, man. He really has. He's been funny. Those promos are wonderful. I just love the seriousness about him and stuff when he's doing them. Again, kudos to him. He had to change up his character a few times since he's been in Impact, and now he just seems to be on a good road with this one. My favorite was just managing to get my internet back on before Slammiversary. Well, that's important. Oh, man, it's pouring outside again. Good Lord, we can't go without rain here. Number 3 says Gary, Dirty Dango, and Santino Marella scuffle. We're going to see a little more of that, so join us on Thursday because we're going to get that match on Impact this coming Thursday. That was in the after Slammiversary show that they ended up having today, which will be taped, and we'll see it on Thursday. So come out because they're going to wrestle on Thursday. Deanna says MJF and Cole and Ricky Starks winning. And then we'll go to your 2 and we'll go to your 1. Eric's return, says James Grant. Okay, Jeff, what was your number 2?
Number 2 for me, we're going to start with the accolades for Impact Wrestling. And got to shout out Josh Alexander returning. Didn't expect to see him back this soon. Really glad he's back. He looks good. And this just makes things in the main event scene all that more chaotic, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. My number 2, a little bit off the cuff, but I'm going to go with, and I've always loved her as a wrestler and an athlete, but this week, it was even more a little bit special, but I'm going to go with Shotzi. I think what she did was very courageous of her to do and showing her love and support for her sister in a promo in wrestling. I just thought it was an extremely wonderful thing to see her do. People, of course, that were watching the show didn't know, right? You kind of thought that, and I'm sure a lot of people were interested. A lot of you guys are big Supernatural fans. So when you saw her doing that, you thought, ooh, what's she doing? She's good doing a little bit kind of crazy stuff here. What's coming out of, what's going on with Shotzi. So whichever, and she may end up being something like that, doing something like that down the road. She's a big horror fan, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Huge horror fan. So wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, but I have to shout her out. That could not have been, listen, to do something like that for a loved one after hearing news that she did was just a wonderful thing. And, this is when you kind of look at wrestlers and really know that they're real people and they go through real things just like all of us do. So I'm shouting out Shotzi for my number 2. So awesome. Number 1, Jeff, what is your number 1 moment of the week? Let me get some people's number 2s real quick here first. Let's see. Deanna's was Trinity winning. Was her number 2. Oh, I think you have 2 of them. And Shotzi coming. Okay, so you had 2 there. We've got a number 2 Bullet Club Gold FTR Bullet Club match from Collision yesterday. Jeff mentioned that a little bit earlier. Number 2, Eric Young returning to Impact. Said Dylan. My number 2 is Trinity winning the Knockouts title. Number 2, LA Knights promo, says James Grant. Another one for Shotzi there from Alexa Bliss Gamer. Number 2, SmackDown being good, that it prompted WrestleMania to not review the bad part of the good, the bad, the downright ugly part of SmackDown. And okay, Jeff, what's your number 1, man?
Well, I think folks probably should know at this point. I'm going to point out a couple things from Impact Wrestling. 1A, 1B. 1B is Eric Young returning. That was really cool for several reasons, but happy to see him back. I really want to see what they do with him and Diener. That's what I want to see. How do you get back into that story, and where do things stand? Are we just going to get a revival of Team Canada at this point? A lot of different directions you could go. 1A for me is Trinity winning the Knockout World title. Just great to see her winning. Great to see a great match between her and Deanna. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with her next, and who's the next challenger for her.
Yep. I'm going to go a couple letters on this one too, because I couldn't just pick a number 1. My number 1, C, Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly winning the Knockouts Division Tag Team Championships. First of all, kudos to the Coven. They held those titles for a good long time, and it was a much better match than I thought it was going to be. Kylan King. Whoo, man, Kylan King's a star. And you know what, Jeff? There you go. Maybe Kylan King would be the one up for maybe a title shot possibly against Trinity. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Kylan has been really, really good.
Yeah.
That has been everything it's been advertised to be. Those two are going to be a hell of an entertaining thing to watch. I think they're both tremendous, and having them as a tag team is just absolutely deadly for the rest of the Knockouts division. My letter B would be, of course, Josh Alexander. And that whole thing with Shelley in the ring. 2 men who have such tremendous amounts of respect for one another. Josh obviously trained under Alex Shelley, or with Alex Shelley, and you can just tell there's just a tremendous amount of respect. Alex Shelley saying, "Welcome back to the face of Impact Wrestling," when he was talking to Josh. And it's just so great to see Josh return healthy. He's back before he was supposed to be, apparently a month or so before. So Josh is back. It's wonderful to see, and that was just a wonderful interaction. And a lot of it was shown after the pay-per-view too. So if people didn't switch over to their YouTube channel, you wouldn't have seen it. But go back and watch it if you didn't, because it was just awesome to see that. And then number 1, the emotion, the match, everything else, Trinity winning the title, no doubt, is my number 1. And then her emotions afterward was tremendous. I love Jeff's comment earlier in the show about, how we did kind of think there would be something after that match, but you know what? We had people kind of mentioned Sasha's name, Mercedes, of course, but you know what? Being her best friend, I could totally see that Mercedes would have said to her, this is your moment. You earned this. This is your moment. No one is going to take it away. I'm not going to take it away from you. Mickey James isn't going to take it away from you. Nobody's going to take it away from you. You deserve this moment. And you could tell how emotional, you could see how emotional she was afterwards. She came to Impact Wrestling with a goal in mind, and that was to come in and take over from the very start and win that title. And she did it. Listen, we don't know how long she's going to be there. I hope it's a while. You can never really speculate because we don't know the behind the scenes stuff. So hopefully she's going to remain with them for a little while, but she is definitely bringing eyes to Impact Wrestling. It's great for them. And it's wonderful to see her, such a talented wrestler that she is, that brings eyes to the sport. So yeah, just an amazing moment for her, and so happy. And like Jeff said, the match was tremendous. The match was tremendous. It looked like Deanna's match to lose the entire match, just about, except for almost the very end. So tremendous. And she gave props to Deonna Purrazzo. She said in that interview after that Deonna was the toughest person she's ever wrestled in the business. That's saying something.
Saying a lot.
Yeah, and we sing Deanna's praises a lot too. Let's see what number ones people have here. My number one, Josh returning to Impact, was John Kessler. Number one, Slammiversary being an awesome pay-per-view, says Brandon. My number two, SmackDown being good that it prompted WrestleMania to not review the bad part of the good, the bad, and the downright ugly part of the SmackDown review. I think I read that earlier. My number one, Josh returning to Impact. Deonna versus Trinity matches bonkers. Number one, Shotzi cutting her hair for her sister. I gave her a lot of respect and now like her even more. Trinity winning. Number one, says Gary. Number one for me is Trinity winning Impact Knockout title. LA Knight's promo for Alexa Bliss Gamer. Number one, Trinity winning the Knockouts title for Dylan. Imru, hell yeah, Trinity. Kylan King is awesome, said bonkers. Yep. Women's roster must have gotten a cheap deal on red hair dye. Well, I think they got an even cheaper deal on glitter.
Everybody got a deal on glitter last night.
There was a lot of glitter in that ring last night, and everyone was covered in it. And I would bet you some of them even today are probably still covered in glitter and will be for probably quite some time. Kylan King, wait, that's a different King. I've never seen Kylan King have a bad match. Great wrestler. Number one, C, the Trinity winning. Number one, B, Team Canada winning. Number one, A. Josh Alexander says, Mark, this Thursday we'll see who tries to take away from that moment. Derek says 3, Mickey 2, Mickey. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Trinity did what Deonna did. She went after the top knockout, says Gary. Yes, so it seems like a lot of people are on the same page with Trinity's win. All right, there's our favorite moments from this past week of wrestling, and we are coming to the end of our show. Do we have anything to watch for? Well, I mean, obviously, besides what we're doing, Abby's window, of course, tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Joe's interview with Caleb, watch for that. Obviously, this coming Thursday is the Slammiversary follow-up show, so you can't miss that if you're an Impact fan. It's going to start new storylines for the next pay-per-view and where they're going to go. So don't miss that with us on Thursday at 7:45. Watch out for some videos. Of course, my ramblings on Raw I will have out probably sometime Tuesday. Jeff will be doing his videos. A little bit about the psychology of wrestling, should have some of those out. And then, of course, we will have our shows for this week. Now, next weekend, I think, is a light weekend for us. Yes, nothing really going on next weekend. Jeff has his kids, so we'll be off next Saturday and next Sunday. And then as far as pay-per-views go, I think I know Multiverse is the next one for Impact. Mm-hmm. Not sure of the date. That is a Sunday, I know.
Yeah,
but that will be.
I'll look and see real quick so we can.
Is it July or is it August?
August.
Oh yeah, I was thinking it was August. I want to say I'm looking at the Sunday. Is it the 20th?
Yeah, I think so. I've got it right here. Come on. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so Emergence is the 27th
of
August.
August, okay.
Yeah, and then let's see.
Also, Emergence is a Sunday?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, Emergence is the 27th of August. The Fallout is the next day, the 28th. And then the Multiverse is the week before on the 20th. So
wow. So that's right. We were talking about that last night, 2 consecutive pay-per-views. So in August, mark it on your calendars. We will have 2 pay-per-views on the 20th and on the 27th, back to back. We will have both of them. We couldn't do the last multiverse because it was at 5 o'clock in the morning or something along those lines, or 4 o'clock in the morning because it was on West Coast time. This one is not. It's on East Coast time. It's in Philadelphia. So they are doing that on Fight TV. So that's not a freebie. You do have to pay for that one. But we will be doing the watch along for Multiverse this time. And then, of course, we'll be doing the one for Emergence. So 2 pay-per-views consecutively in August for Impact. And then SummerSlam is what date? That is August 5th. So that is August 5th, Saturday at 7:30. So we will have that one on our channel as well. So 3 pay-per-views in August for us. August 5th for SummerSlam, and then the 2 for Impact at the end of the month. So,
and Joe, you want me to tell you something crazy about Impact?
Yeah, what?
September 8th is Victory Road.
Holy crap. That's like 3 pay-per-views in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Damn.
Yeah.
Between the end of August and early September, it's going to be a lot of Impact Wrestling we're going to be doing. Well, we'll be busy.
Yeah.
We shall be busy.
Impact 1000, their 1000th episode is September 9th.
Also, I was going to just say to you guys who are listening out there, when if you have WW2K23 and you're playing Bray, take some screenshots, send them our way. We'll retweet them and stuff like that. I'll save a few of them, give them to Jeff, and he could post them up on Abby's and stuff like that too. Since we really don't have any content or whatever with Bray, actually, if you're doing something, you have a screenshot or 2 of a match or an entrance, send them our way. Retweet them on Twitter, whatever. Send them to our Twitter. Send them to our Twitter DMs. Whatever, and tag us, and what we'll do is we'll compile some of them and we'll give them to Jeff, and Jeff can put them on Abby's window. So you can have your own match. See, there doesn't have to be a Bray match. You can do your own.
That's right.
Do your own matchups, right? Create your own. Now you have the ability to do that. So there's that too. All right, guys. I think that's about all we've got, huh? Yeah, I think we're going to probably wrap it up then. Yeah, that's about it. That's our schedule for the upcoming week. So just make sure, those of you who are here, again, thank you for coming out with us on a Sunday night and spending a couple hours with us. We really appreciate it. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you're listening to this after the fact, not watching live, again, please make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. Make sure we're very close to 3,800 now subs. After yesterday, we had a good turnout for that pay-per-view. So make sure you sub, make sure you like the stream tonight before you go, and also make sure you hit the notification bell to be notified about when we've got all that future content and all those pay-per-views. All right, guys, that is going to do it for us for this evening. Hope you had a great time. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Have a great week ahead as well. And stay safe. Please be kind to one another, and hopefully we will see you all for our next show. Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.